The first haircut. As is the custom, Dharmadev and Bhakti Devi couldn't cut Ghanshyam's hair until he was 3 years old. Along with the first haircut, it is also the custom to take a holy bath. Now, small boys never like to have their hair cut, and Ghanshyam was no different. When the day arrived to cut Ghanshyam's hair, a Brahmin priest was called and a barber, and then they all set off for Narayan Lake. There, under the shade of a big tree beside the lake, the Brahmin began to purify the place by sprinkling water all around and chanting prayers. When he was finished, he laid a woolen cloth on the ground and beckoned Ghanshyam to come and sit. The barber took out his razor and began to sharpen it. Ghanshyam saw it glinting in the sunlight and began to get frightened. Squatting down beside Ghanshyam, the barber held his head in his left hand and began to shave the little boy. With one stroke, he cut a big line of hair from Ghanshyam's head. Ghanshyam winced in pain as the cold steel scraped his head and raised his arm to tell the barber to stop. As the barber saw the boy raise his arm, a strange thing happened. Ghanshyam disappeared. The barber blinked his eyes, but the boy was nowhere to be seen. Bhakti Mata looked at the barber, wondering why he was just sitting there with his razor poised. She and everyone else except the barber could still see Ghanshyam. "What are you waiting for?" she asked. "You can't leave his hair half cut like that." The barber looked and looked, but still he couldn't see Ghanshyam. All this time, Shiva and Parvati were watching the scene with amusement from their heavenly abode. Taking pity on the poor barber, they came down to the shores of the lake, riding on their bull, Nandi, and appeared before Ghanshyam. Bowing his head before Ghanshyam, Shiva spoke to him with love. "Why are you teasing this poor man, my little lord? He's only doing his job," he said. "But it hurts," said Ghanshyam. Shiva fixed him with his eye. "You are the lord of all things," he said, "and you will only feel pain if you want to. If you don't want to feel pain, then there will be no pain." Ghanshyam smiled and nodded his head in understanding. Raising his hand in blessing on the little boy, Shiva left for his heavenly abode along with Parvati and Nandi. Suddenly, Ghanshyam made himself visible again to the barber. "What are you waiting for?" he asked the surprised man. "Cut it all off!" And so it was that Ghanshyam had his first haircut.